Alright, hey everybody, this is Mr. Hartzler and I wanted to show you how I make dish towels, like a washcloth kind of thing. I use cotton yarn because cotton yarn will clean up very nicely. It will end up looking really good. You can throw it through the washer and dryer and not have any issues. Cotton comes out really nice. It comes off in kind of a different spool type of thing. Pick them up just about anywhere. I like Joann's or Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby is just a good company, so I like supporting them. My yarn looks a little funky right now. I actually just undid a little bit of a project. So start off by making a slip knot. So I put the yarn in my left hand like this with a short piece. I wrap the long end behind that little tail I've got. I grab the long piece. So you can see my short piece here is behind the long end. I grab the long and short and pull it down through. So that's what that little knot looks like. I stick my hook in there and I tighten it down. Now I am a lefty, but as far as I understand, I crochet right-handed. I wrap my yarn around my hand like this. That's just how I do my yarn management. It's up to you, but if you have good yarn management, you can become very quick at crocheting. So you hold this little extra piece, and we're starting a chain right now, so I have my slip knot on. I yarn over, pull the yarn through, yarn over, or YO if you're reading a pattern, and then I pull it through, and I keep doing that. When I'm making these, I do 20 long. Let's count that. I don't know where I'm at. You don't count the loop that the hook is already in. 9, 10, 11, 12 is what it looks like so far. We'll keep going. Alright. So now we have our chain. It is 20 long. Don't worry about that extra little piece. In the end, you can just kind of wiggle that back through so it's out of the way. I usually cut it a little bit shorter too. Now this is the tricky part for a lot of people, and this discourages a lot of people. So I now have 20 stitches. Change my camera angle here a little bit. Alright, so now we need to turn and go back down to make a second row. This one is, again, it's usually the trickiest part to all of this. So if I want a row to be 20 long, I actually need to chain one more. So I have 20 right now, not counting what's on the hook, and I need to chain one more. So I actually have 21 after my hook, not counting the one on my hook. And that extra one I just did was to account for the turn I'm about to do. Or that last one here, that 21st loop, that one is actually the first one in my second row. So if I lay that down, it should actually look more like that. My 21 is number 1 on my second row, and then I'm going to keep going down, and that will get me 20 stitches. Alrighty, so I'm skipping that first one because I chained one. That's technically row 2, and I go to the right of it, and in this pattern I always go in the back loop. So I always put my hook back loop. You can see there, front loop is right there just above my hook, back loop is right there. Back loop on all of these, and keep going down. That second loop, or the second row, is usually the hardest. A lot of people think knitting is easier just because every row is the same, and they have a hard time getting past the second row on crochet. Knitting definitely has its place, but I am a big fan of crochet. So again, I'm just putting the yarn or the hook through the back loop, pulling it through once, and then pulling it through both loops. So I put my hook through the back loop. Sometimes it can be a little fickle. Yarn over, pull it through one loop, yarn over, and pull it through the second loop. If you happen to make a mistake, you can always just pull your hook out, pull out however many loops you need, and then stick your hook back in. That is another great benefit to crochet over knit. When you knit, you end up having to do a whole lot to try and and go back and fix your mistakes. Alright, so I'm going to finish this row up and I'll show you how I turn the corner. Alright, so now I have one more to do on this row. Got that little purple loop. Stick my hook through the back loop of it. Pull it through once. Wrap my yarn around. Pull it through both of those loops. I have now completed my second row. It'll kind of want to twist on you sometimes, your first couple rows. And now I'm going to continue to go back, which means I have to turn. I literally turn my entire work, spin my hook around, and whenever you turn, with single crochet I have to chain 1, with double crochet you chain 3, and then I can proceed. So I wrap my yarn around, pull it through just whatever loop was on my hook. I skip that first one. So that's where we just chained 1. That's the first stitch in my third row now, and now I keep going down. So this is the next loop I have to go through, but you can see here, front loop, back loop. I need to go through my back loop. So hopefully you can see this in the video. I'm going through here, and I'm going through the back side of it. And then you proceed until it's all nice and done. When I'm making these washcloths, I'll do 20 wide, and I will do enough rows so that I have, I believe it's 9 little ridges. So you can kind of start to see that as you go, as you always go through the back loop, if it doesn't keep twisting on me, you'll get little ridges. So you can kind of see there, hopefully. If I flip it over, see how the ends want to curl up a little bit. It comes out pretty nice. Get almost a V shape going down the end. You'll keep going back and forth. I do it until I have 9 of those ridges or so. And then I go around my edges. And I'm going to get some of this work done, and then I'll show you how I do those corners. Now I want to show you how I will complete this row. And when I'm making these, I do 20 for each. And once I finish this row up, I'm going to show you how to turn and keep going from there. So in this case, I'm most of the way done. I am always going in the back loop. So I have a front loop, and then I have back loop. I'm going through the back one. And we're doing single crochet for all of this still. And I just keep putting through my back loop. That's what that looks like. And once I come up to the corner, that's where we have to be a little careful. So there's still a loop there, and you can faintly see another loop. You can see right here, that's another loop. I want to put my hook through the back part of that. You can still kind of see right there, just above my fingernail, that's the front part of the loop. I want to be in the back part of the loop, and we do one more right there. Now, to turn a piece of work, I literally flip over or turn the thing I'm working on. Since I'm doing single crochet, I have to chain 1, so I have to yarn over or wrap my yarn around, pull it through one time. That helps make up for the turn, and then I go on to my next stitch. So that does my first one. I'm now going to have to put my hook in this second piece. So this loop is right here. I need to put it through that loop, but I'm currently looking at the front, and I'm always putting through the back loop on this piece of work. That's what makes it give these little waves, these little ruffles that you can kind of see, kind of high ridges. It's kind of a neat pattern. So I'm going to show a couple more of these, putting it through the back loop every time. So now, as I approach the corner, I still need to do one more to complete this row. So I've put, again, my hook goes in the back part of that loop. Hopefully you can see that. Got the front part of my loop just above my fingernail. putting it through the back part, and I'm coming through. Now what I like doing for these, because I think it makes a look a little bit neater, is I go and do a couple laps around the edges. So how I do that is I do a chain one, then I just turn it and I start going down the edges, making sure that pretty much every row I do, so there's a left side here and a right side to that little ridge, I make sure that I put the yarn through and do a stitch on each side of that. So pretty much every row you have a stitch going along the edge. Sometimes that means you have to put it into some weird places just to kind of make it work. That first one I did covers that green row, and my next one is going to go right here, kind of in the bigger loop. And now I need to do the other side of that ridge. That one is the front part. Now I need to do the back part. On this one there's no front or back, it's pretty much just finding any spot you can make it fit in. Now I do the low side of the ridge, and then I'll do the high side. Now I have to do the high side of the ridge and low side of the ridge, and I just keep doing that back and forth, all the way down. If you're someone that tends to drop stitches or add stitches, this can be a really nice way to try and square up your ends, kind of make everything look clean. And this is where things start to become important again. I'm approaching the corner. If I lay this down, you can kind of see how it's looking up so far. As I approach this corner, I'm not at the corner yet. I have one more stitch to go. And once I'm there, I will do 3 in this corner. Okay? I will go in once, twice, 3 times, and then I can start going down this edge. Anytime you're turning a sharp corner, like a 90 degrees, it takes 3 in that one spot to account for the corner. So that one there technically finishes the edge. Now I need to do one that would kind of make me go 45 degrees, and then one more will make it so I've completely turned. And again, I'm putting that into the same hole. I'm doing my same stitch. You can see, especially if you kind of pinch it into that corner a little bit, we have gone down and we've made our corner. So this stitch here looks like I am right in time with everything else. At this point, I just kind of do whatever I think looks pretty. I've sometimes done some interesting patterns going around the edges, but really it doesn't have to be anything too fancy. Most of the time people don't get crocheted gifts, so if you do something crocheted for them, it'll end up looking pretty nice. Alright, and you can kind of see there that that's a pretty corner. And every time I go around, next time I'm in there, you can kind of wiggle it out around and see where that corner is. In this case it's this one right here. So in that spot I'll put another 3 stitches next time I go around. Hopefully that was helpful for you. The nice thing about crochet is once you're done, if we are saying we're just ending here, we clip the string and pull that string through this loop that my hook is in and tie it off in a little knot, and then I just wiggle it back through a couple of the old loops and you're all good to go. Hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, please click that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this. I do a lot related to math and engineering, but I'm trying to be pretty crafty as well. So hopefully this was helpful, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Alright, Clark, so this should be the... Or sorry, not Clark. Craig.